that she left even though he was a good man. It means that this woman takes no responsibility in the relationship. This woman has destroyed the lives of two men who trusted her and gave her a ring. To me, this woman is a gold digger, clearly because she divorces them without any reason. But she won't walk away empty-handed. There are women who treat this like a sport, moving from marriage to take men's assets. That's why I support abolishing no-fault divorce. To end this mess where a woman marries you, leaves you without any reason, and still has rights to your assets. Because of things like this, I always tell men to have a prenup and never lose your personality for a woman. There are men who are truly fine alone, having fantastic lives that they leave behind to be with a woman who, after turning you into that good man, leaves you because she no longer feels those alpha emotions in you. But the next video explains it better than I can.
Remember this?
If your husband is a good guy, but you're ready for divorce, you're not a bad person.
She describes herself as a divorce recovery coach for moms, whatever that is. And understandably, she made that video because, well, she's trying to drum up business. And what better way to do so than by making moms feel good about leaving their husbands? And that's perfectly fine. But apparently she's not too happy with some of the responses she's getting from the husbands.
Men are losing their mind over a recent video that I made.
So a man taking a few moments to express his opinion on the matter is losing his mind?
Your spouse doesn't have to be abusive in order for your feelings of wanting to leave to be valid.
Actually, I don't have a problem with this. I actually agree with her. No one should be in a marriage that they are not happy in. But
there are dozens of reasons why marriages fall apart.
Okay, let's hear some of those reasons, but let's also keep in mind her business is a divorce recovery coach. So without a divorce happening, she can't make money.
Here are some examples. Financial problems.
Financial problems. Well, pretty much every marriage experiences financial problems at some point. So the first step to do, file for divorce.
Growing apart, communication issues.
Both of those issues are common in every marriage at some point. Heck, in every relationship, no matter what kind it is, at some point. So the first solution, file for divorce.
Addiction, too much arguing.
Again, I agree, those are valid reasons. However, shouldn't the first solution be trying to find a way to work through them?
Lack of emotional or physical intimacy.
Yes, lack of physical intimacy. You know, the one where if he's not interested, it's his fault, and if she's not interested, it's also his fault.
The spouse just isn't carrying their weight in the marriage.
The infamous, he's not carrying his weight. He's a good guy, but he's just not doing enough. So, divorce him.
Maybe you married too young or for the wrong reasons.
Again, these could be valid reasons, but I ask you this, shouldn't those have been obvious before you got married?
Those are all very common reasons for divorce, and it doesn't make you or your spouse a bad person.
Now I hear you, and I might agree with you except for one thing. You see, if a man used any of those as a reason for walking away from his marriage, he would be immediately vilified and accused of abandoning his family. Now let's be clear, I'm not trying to be mean to her or throw any ill will or shade at her. I just simply want to point out that she makes her living by coaching women who have been divorced. And we need to keep that in mind when she's encouraging said women to leave, by her own word, good men for what are problems that every marriage has at some point or another. And that is why men, well, to use her term, are losing their minds. Because men know that women, they're abandoning their marriages at the first sign of trouble rather than trying to work it out. So explain to me again why the hell men should get married anymore? Just saying.
The worst enemy of a woman is another woman. I once told you, happiness, like misery, is contagious. This woman is a broke single mother who wants to profit from her misery, which is why she holds that ridiculous title of advisor, one that she invented herself. It's just as he says, if there is no divorce, she doesn't make money. She's like a parasite that needs to make you sick to survive. That's why I say women are emotional beings. Emotional people tend to be susceptible to any influence. That's why emotional men tend to be weak. But here's what happens with women. If a woman is dissatisfied and is considering leaving her marriage for any foolish reason, and she listens to a video from another woman who reaffirms what she feels, she will act on emotion, regardless of what she destroys in her path. He is right that if men divorced for the reasons that women do, these men would be strongly attacked by the colorful hair movement. That's why I always tell men to be aware of who your girlfriend associates with and what content she consumes. If she is always surrounded by divorced women, whether they are mothers, sisters, aunts, cousins, or friends, It is very likely that your marriage will go through the same, because misery loves company.
No one talks about divorcing a good guy. I've been divorced twice, both of which were my decision, and neither one of them were abusing me or cheating on me. That doesn't mean there wasn't a pile of other reasons as to why we couldn't maintain a healthy relationship.
A pile of other reasons, meaning tell me you're toxic without telling me. Okay. But to also come online so proudly and so boldly as to think that you're not part of the problem while simultaneously proving that you are unable to maintain a healthy relationship, even as a coach, make that make sense. This is a perfect example of women that have zero self-awareness and are actually super selfish, because how do you come on the internet and basically admit to ruining two men's lives and you don't think you're part of the problem? And that's just two people that she married. So what about all of the men in between in her dating experiences? And what is she teaching women as a coach? I love how all of these professionals come online and think that they're like God's gift because they are coaches. But the reality is that they're taking their own personal experience and projecting that onto other people, especially women. And this is the number one reason why so many single women keep women single. And how diabolical and delulu do you have to be to come online and basically say that you ruined two men's lives and you don't think there's anything wrong with that? The same way that if women are on dating apps and a man says, oh, I've been married and divorced 2 or 3 times, you're gonna immediately call him, you know, a narcissist or toxic or delulu or all of the things. But women can come online and say whatever the hell they want, and it's perfectly normal and it's natural for her to just divorce people because she's what, bored and not feeling it. Let me guess, I'm sure that all men are toxic and all men are narcissists and she's not the problem at all. Okay, bye.
Buy 2, get 2 free. Just £49 gets you 4 pairs of pants delivered to your door, guaranteed to last 20 years without needing replacements. We promise a 14-day no questions asked free return policy.
She is definitely a narcissist. This woman has divorced twice simply in search of excitement, nothing more. It doesn't matter if she ruins her children's lives or if she ruins the man. She doesn't care about any of that because all that matters to her is her own happiness. That's why I always tell men that your best investment will always be in yourself, because a woman never thinks of you as family. She thinks of you as some kind of product to use as long as it's useful to her. The moment she has gained enough from you, she will leave you, no matter what you say. The worst part of all this is seeing women comment things like, I left mine too. Even though he was a good father and provider, he wasn't a good husband. Or women saying, he gave me everything but I felt nothing for him. Others mocking that their ex-husband even cried for them to stay, but she wanted to leave. How do you tell a man to believe in love or marriage when you do everything right and in the end, they leave you just because you are a good man? That's why, gentlemen, uncertainty, anxiety, and instability will always be your best allies.
We talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy. When you say, I want a divorce, and he's like, no, I want to work this out. Everything's going to be fine.
Free that man so he can find his wife. I'm going to say it again. Free that good man, Savannah, so he can find his wife. Because if you're unhappy, chances are he's unhappy too. But he just doesn't know how to express it. And he doesn't want to get help quickly to change the dynamics of your relationship. And I understand that you're unhappy. And your feelings are very much valid. I don't want to invalidate them. But just know that once this marriage is over with, you might not find anybody better. And that's okay. But you got to be prepared to not hold him to a high standard that nobody else can reach. And you also may need to fall in love with the idea of being alone for the rest of your days. Because you know how people say the grass ain't always greener on the other side? Well, I haven't seen too many green pastures that look appealing nowadays, okay? So you might have to fall in love with you and be okay with that for the rest of your life. But yeah, free you and free him so y'all can both be happy.
I like that expression. Leave that man so he can find his wife. To every man going through a divorce, to every man who wants a relationship tomorrow, remember never to give up your life for a woman. What do I mean by this? If you were the type who used to go to the gym, liked to eat out at restaurants, bought elegant clothes, and hung out with friends for chats or barbecues, don't stop being that man for any woman. There are men who leave all their relationships for a woman, lose their shine, settle into a woman's mold, and when she leaves them or wants to leave them, they cling more to her because they have nothing, having abandoned everything for her. That is a mistake. If your woman says she wants to leave you, it's valid to say we can work it out. But if she says no, first find the best lawyer possible. Second, reconnect with your friends, work on your body, even if it hurts, everything gets better. It's tough, we all know it, but make her regret her decision. Tell her there's the door, go. No contact with her, become a better version of yourself. Let her suffer watching you be the best you can be. Trust me, you'll find something better. She will regret it, she'll come looking for you, and I assure you, you won't want her back because that's how wonderful karma is. Let it crash into the wall.
We talk about how hard it is to leave the good guy.
Why do women leave the good guy? Let's talk about it. I feel like I've been summoned here because this is what a lot of my content is about. I can't emphasize this enough. Just because somebody is a good person doesn't mean they are deserving of you. Being good does not equal compatibility. It does not equal good partnership. It just doesn't. There are good people walking around everywhere that are just not great for each other. So just because you're a good person and your spouse is a good person doesn't mean you're good for each other. You said something in your video that you downplayed that's actually a really big deal in relationships and marriages. You said he is only guilty of not putting in effort like he did in the beginning of our marriage and being lazy, just like every other marriage. No. After years of that, it will literally change how you see him. Doesn't matter if you're man or woman, whoever's doing it. It will change how you see your partner after years of that, because it just blindly tells you they do not understand you. This is why I tell people compatibility is so freaking important. So many people are getting divorces in their late 30s, 40s, 50s because they're realizing the people they married when they were young, they truly did not have a lot of compatibility with. That person doesn't know them, they don't know their triggers, they don't know their past, they don't even know how they like to have sex. So when you said he just doesn't understand you, you are right. You are not crazy. You're not crazy. So many people are manipulated into staying in marriages because the other person's a good person. Well, what good is that going to do if you stay in a marriage for years and years and years and years and years with someone who doesn't understand you, they don't know how to communicate with you, your sex is terrible, and you're just showing up because they're financially providing and they think that's enough? I'm telling you, when you find someone who loves your soul, someone who loves you not just to love you, but they love you because they understand you, they get you, and they love every part of you, it's different. I left a marriage that people from the outside looking in probably thought was a great marriage, you know, like he would bring flowers every week, he'd make me coffee, he was just an all-around good guy. Yes, we had our problems individually and together, but he was a good guy, and everybody knew he was a good person because he is. And none of that mattered because our marriage was toxic. Our communication sucked. I over-communicated, he under-communicated really badly. We did not even like the same things, have the same enjoyments in life. Everything I loved, he actually hated.
Terminate hive structure destroyed.
So I was married to a good guy who didn't even understand me and actually probably truly loved me for me.
Allied destroyer has left the squadron.
So you're not crazy for wanting to leave the good guy. Because being a good guy does not equal being good together.
You know, once a female friend told me something, and I believe it 100%. She said, if you don't like a man in intimacy, he could give you the sun and the stars, and you still won't like that man no matter how well he treats you. We really see this with Chad, a man who brings nothing to the table but his seed. This man mistreats her, makes her live a tough life. In some cases, cheats on or physically abuses her. He's a terrible man, but still, they are crazy about him because this man drives her wild in intimacy. Besides that, he gives her uncertainty, anxiety, and instability. He puts her on an emotional roller coaster, something women become addicted to. This woman talked about intimacy in her divorce because the guy treated her well, but she didn't like him in bed. The difference between men and women is that men have in their primal DNA the urge to solve problems. Women don't. A man can have a wife who is bad in bed, but still stays married, thinking he can fix that. A woman, as soon as there is a problem, doesn't want a solution. She wants out. That's why you hear the saying, she doesn't want you to solve her problems. She wants you to listen. So remember, don't put her on a pedestal. Don't lose your identity for a woman.
Anybody else realize that children born in 2023 potentially live to see the year 3000?
If you're sensitive to sound, you probably use earplugs. But foam earplugs don't really match your style, do they? This is why we invented Loop. High-quality, reusable earplugs that look and feel great. Thanks to the advanced mechanical filter system and unique design, you can reduce the noise around you by a little.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we'll see how modern women complain about dating nowadays, how many regret it when they hit the wall, having to struggle to find a husband. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you. Man, add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's begin.
This is for all my single people, so if you are not single, just keep scrolling. Can someone tell me why in like modern dating or dating right now, we're talking on apps, talking on Instagram, you're sliding in, whatever, but no plans are being made? I don't know about you guys, but I'm not looking for a pen pal. I'm looking for a husband. So what's going on?
The crazy thing about dating is that men will never date a girl they think is ugly. When have you ever heard a man say, "Oh, I really like this girl. She has a really good personality, but she's kind of fucking ugly"? Never. So why do we do it? Trust me, I've done it. You've probably done it. When there's a guy and you're like, he's not really my type. He's not really that cute, but he has a really good personality, so I'm gonna give it a try. And they end up being a piece of shit anyways. I'm sorry, but I'd rather be crying over a super fine-ass man than a guy that I was like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll give him a chance. Stop.
She's right to cry over Chad. It's your right. But don't complain later when the man, having worked, moves on to a younger, beautiful, and fertile woman, because let's be completely honest, the idea that a woman says, I like him, I'll give him a chance, is a complete fallacy. That man clearly brings something to the table, whether it's money, good looks, or social skills. She wouldn't choose you just because of your nice feelings. But the man knows it. He's not bothered by it. He just does the work. But what bothers the woman is that the man won't accept her if she doesn't do the work. If you're an unattractive woman, you should at least be kind to the man, contribute acts of service and good treatment, or bring money to the table. But many only get upset when Chad rejects them for not having what's required. So, men, you should also have your standards. As for the girl who can't find a way out, she should check which men she's talking to, because Chad has many lined up. There's no day to go out with you. I recommend lowering your standards if you want a husband, because you're hitting the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive.
If he wanted to, he would. Listen to me. The guy I'm with right now, I met him when I was going through my divorce. I was married for 5 years, and I literally believed I would never be loved again. I'm not worthy of being loved. I literally was a mess. And I met this guy. Okay, and he's been trying to take me out on all these dates, and I was just, no, I'm not ready. And I'm like, just text him. I was so sad, but I just had this feeling like, this guy you need in your life. And that's what I said. And so I sent him a text message, and I go, hey, I think I just need you in my life. He responds with the restaurant he's taking me to and the time he's picking me up in the day. And he picks me up and we go on the date like that next weekend. And he lives 2 hours away. So he drove 2 hours, took me on the date, dropped me off, and drove 2 hours back home. From then on, he never missed a weekend. Every single weekend, he would come up and see me. 2 hours, drive 2 hours to me every single weekend and see me. One night, I was feeling really sad about like stuff I was going through. I was just super emotional. I was like, I need to go to Target, as we do, and I need to cry in the parking lot. I don't even need anything. I just can't be around him because I just feel, I don't know, like embarrassed. So I ended up telling him like, hey, I'm going to Target, like, do you need anything? He's like, oh no, I'll come with you. Like, just being sweet. I'm like, oh no, it's really okay. And he's like, no, I'll come with. I go, okay. I'm like, okay. And so we go to the Target parking lot and I'm like, my heart's beating on the way there. I'm like, I just want to cry. And we get in the parking lot. I go, I literally don't need anything. I just was coming here because I have a lot on my mind and I just don't want to put that on you. Like, you don't deserve that. I start sobbing. This guy starts crying next to me, sobbing, and he holds my face like this. And he's like, you are worth it and you deserve so much. And he's crying while this is happening. And he's like, I just want to be around for the day that you see your worth. And he's like, so you don't need anything in Target? Like, we keep talking. I'm like, no. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. Goes in Target, gets me Ben and Jerry's, comes back to the car. He's like, let's go home. I go, okay. I'm like, right? And then we go home and I eat the entire carton of Ben and Jerry's while he like rubs my back and I pass out. And it's just sweet because he writes me letters all the time, and I just got a letter from him that was so sweet. Like, at the end of it, it was like, P.S. I told you that you would see your... Just like, what?
Here, I want you to notice something. Even a married woman always has a simp lurking behind, waiting for the relationship to fail to see if he has a chance, because this type, the crybaby, is all simp. He's the typical man whom she rejected in her prime. But they don't give up. They continue like mosquitoes circling around her, waiting for their chance. I must admit, a woman coming out of a divorce is a vulnerable prey. That woman will want to do things either out of revenge or distraction, and this man is being a distraction. Right now, as she left her Chad, she feels like she needs romance. Who's better for that than a simp who always comes with his romanticism? Because I told you that you would see your worth. You know what's worse? This man becomes so romantic, thinking that if he loves her like a Disney movie, she'll be more attracted to him. What ends up happening is that he wears her out. They're dating, but at some point, she mentioned having intimacy with him, not because she genuinely wants to, but just as a distraction. The moment she gets bored or doesn't want to give him anything despite all he's doing for her, the relationship will end for the simp because genuine interest is non-negotiable. If she didn't want you before, magically she won't want you now.
Men should always pay on the first date, and this is why.
Okay, let's hear why. Spoiler alert, it has to do with how much money they spent on making up their face.
There's about to be $2,000 on my face, so...
How much? Oh dear. Now let's see why it costs almost $2,000 to put on one's face.
Starting with Dior Moisturizer, $135. Dior Capture View Serum, $125. Dior Primer, $50. Armani Primer, $46. Bond Filter, $49. Chanel Liquid Highlighting Drops, $57. Dior Foundation, $57. Dior Concealer, $40. Chanel Bronzer, $60. Chanel Multi-Use Stick, $50. Chanel Blush Stick, $54. L'Oreal Highlighter, $27. Chanel Powder, $56. Dior Bronzer, $50. Dior Highlight, $50. Dior Prestige, $48. Dior Potions, Dior Prestige, $52. Eyeshadow, $68. Dior Eyeliner, $55. $58. Cream Consume, $54. Eyeliner, $35. Eyelash Color, $35. Dior Mascara, $33. White Mascara, $35. Rose Liner, $24. Charlotte Tilbury Liner, $25. Chanel Lip Pillow, $48. Chanel Lip Gloss, $40. Urban Decay Setting Spray, $36. Total cost is $1,745. If you're a girl, make sure the man pays. Don't waste $2,000 on that.
Now that we've seen that, let's take a look at the before and the after. Now, it's just my opinion, but I actually do believe that most gentlemen would prefer how one looked before. Spending almost $2,000 to apply product to one's face just in an effort to try to impress someone on a first date, no less. Because it really does speak volumes that someone would spend that amount of money just to try to impress someone. And indeed, it says that women really don't do that for themselves. They do that for men.
This thing It's funny because it's true.
Here's an example that being pretty doesn't mean being smart. Firstly, those products last for several months. I'm sure you won't finish them on a first date. Besides, you can use cheaper products since the difference won't be noticeable. Secondly, the reality is that men prefer to see a natural face rather than seeing you with so much makeup that you look like a clown. With what you've put on, it's better to take you to a pool. Another thing is that they say they don't need male attention, but if they spend $2,000 to try to impress a man on a first date, they're mainly seeking that approval.
I'm just getting on here for all the girlies who are in their 30s. I'm 33, turning 34 next month, and I'm just fucking done dating. Like, excuse my language, but I'm done. Like, for a while there, I was on a kick for the younger guys because that was all that was hollering at me, because I must say, I think I look pretty good for being 33. So I was like, okay, I'm done with the young ones. Like, they're too immature. Like, I'm looking for something more serious in life. They're not doing it for me. Cool, whatever. I reunite with an ex that I was with when I was 22, and this was like always the one who got away from me. Mind you, he is 3 years older than me, gonna be 37 in January. This man is emotionally unavailable. So they're too immature in their 20s, and then they're possibly still emotionally unavailable in their 30s. I understand why my mom is 60 years old and still single and just said forget it, because that's what it's about to be.
The wall doesn't forgive. When they're young, they don't heed the advice to marry a good man, a man you can build with. They don't want a winner. They go out with every Chad they find. When they realize the guys they left behind are now that winner, they say they're not emotionally available. It's not just that the man moved on from you. He wants a younger woman, not a 33-year-old who didn't listen to him when she was at her best. That's why I always tell them the beauty of doing the work, that sooner or later, it will yield results. She wonders why her mother remains single at 60. Apparently, it's a family where women can't keep a husband. What I'd advise is to do the opposite of what your mother did, because your biological clock is ticking. You must hurry because you're hitting the wall, and the wall doesn't forgive. Or adapt to having a cute cat.
I don't know who needs to hear this, and please do not get mad at me for this advice, because it is something that I wish someone told me many, many years ago. Choosing to move in with your significant other because you already spend all of your nights together is not a reason to move in together. Like, I'm gonna go as far as saying that it shouldn't even be on your pro list. It's just kind of irrelevant to the situation. When I was 23 and moving in with someone for the first time, so 6 years ago, that was the reason for moving in together. And it did not occur to me that that was problematic. Have the actual conversation around why you want to move in together. It should be because you want to bring your lives together and you want to start a new chapter and advance your relationship. But if it's for convenience, saving money, or because it just makes sense, then you should probably keep discussing it.
I'm going to tell you something. To every man who at some point wants to move in with a woman, put tests on that woman. Simple things like when you go out to eat, see if she ever makes the gesture of paying for something, or if she has ever invited you. See if she ever gives you gifts or is grateful for what you do for her. Also, simple things like when she's talking on the phone after work, say, "I haven't eaten today," or "I'm hungry, I haven't eaten anything." See if she says, "Come, I'll prepare something for you," or "Let me get you something to eat." This test is to see if the woman invests in the relationship. This man didn't do this with this woman. She's facing a reality check because she thought he would move in and do nothing. Many of these women don't even clean up after themselves at home. They don't even know how to boil water. And when you move in with them, you feel like you're moving in with a little girl who complains about everything and who only burdens you. That's why in your relationship, you should test the woman. See how she lives, if she does acts of service, how she spends her money, so you don't realize that you just threw an expense or a problem onto yourself. Learn to avoid chaos in your life.
Hell to the no, 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 no. Hell no.
So
someone please explain to me why men absolutely lose their mind when women cut their hair? Like, the amount of men that have been in my comments or like my DMs being like, no, why would you do this? It's like, first of all, didn't ask. Second of all, because you're a man, your opinion isn't valid to me.
If you bought a car between 2014 and 2021, go put the registration plate number in this form, because you might be eligible for compensation on your car loan.
Welcome to The Wall. In today's video, we will talk about single mothers. We will see how a woman feels proud to have 3 children from different fathers, while many complain about being single mothers, that men do not help them. We want to invite you to smash that like button. Let's support the movement. Subscribe to the channel. That's the only contribution we ask of you. Men, add your grain of sand to the movement. Leave us your experience in the comments for any man who needs it. And without further introduction, let's begin.
I'm a single mom. Of course I'm gonna get asked how many baby daddies I have. I'm a single mom. Of course I'm gonna get asked, how do I have a newborn if I'm a single mom? I'm a single mom. Of course people are going to assume that I get child support from all 10 baby daddies. I'm a single mom. Of course people assume my mom takes care of my kids 24/7. I'm a single mom. Of course my kid follows me to the bathroom. I'm a single mom. Of course I never have time for myself. I'm a single mom. Of course all the sleepless nights are on me. I'm a single mom. Of course I'm mom and dad 24/7. I'm a single mom. Of course people ask me, why do I keep having kids? I'm a single mom. Of course I get mental breakdowns at least once a day. I'm a single mom. Of course I get criticized for being a single mom. I'm a single mom. Of course at the end of the day, I'm proud of myself for doing it all by myself.
Oh, you're a single mother because of course you chose the wrong father for your children. But since you don't want to take responsibility for your actions, because that's kryptonite for you, I'll blame men for opening their legs to Chad. You're a single mother if you saw that the relationship wasn't going well with the first child. Why in the world would you have another one? Oh, because the second one is the good one. But you say you have 24 hours of work, so how do you support yourself as a single mother? Oh right, government assistance, clearly child support. But of course the man doesn't contribute anything. It makes me laugh that they know what would come if they have a child with an irresponsible man, but still have the children. So when things go wrong as they saw coming, they want men to feel sorry for them. Play the card that they were looking for Chad's seed. Then beta provider raises them and it's not working for them anymore because men are waking up. They don't want to take care of someone else's children, but as I said, taking responsibility is kryptonite for them. If you don't believe me, watch the next video.
This is my first baby daddy, Ace. He is a fucking ladies man. He is fine as hell, bitches. I had to fight everybody over this man, but I was number 1, so it didn't matter. I truly believed if he wasn't murdered that we would have had all of our kids together and we would probably still be together till this day, only because the simple fact is I'm a dumb bitch and he's in love with me. But whatever. I would give him a 7 out of 10. I don't really like that he was like always in the streets, but so I'll give him a 7 to 10. Love him to death still to this day. 0 out of 10 for dying. That was fucked up. Really fucked me up with that one. This motherfucker here. This is my second baby daddy. Too tall. He's a piece of shit. I think he has a few other kids. I've tried to find family members of his or baby mamas or anything to kind of connect him to my son, to his family. Cannot find anything. No one's ever reached out to me. No one gives a fuck. He hasn't seen his son literally since he was like 2 or 3, 4 months old. He's only seen his son like 2 times. Didn't come to the delivery even though I called his phone, asked him to come. Gave me $80 when I had the baby, and that's all the money I've ever gotten from him. He's been on child support for like 3 years and haven't seen a dime. So he's a loser. 0 out of fucking 10. Awful. Would not recommend. This is my third baby daddy, White Mike. Love the guy. A great guy. Cheater, but a great guy. Good stepdaddy. Takes care of his family. Pisses me the fuck off. Ready to fight him. I give him a 8 out of 10. He's alright. That thing. Good. He ain't got no other kids, no problems there. He's just a fucking weirdo. Anyways, what do I give him? 8 out of 10? 9 out of 10? Yeah, though. He be giving me that money.
You can't make this shit up. You can't make this shit up. Y'all heard it.
But as I said, they are the victims. Honestly, taking responsibility for their actions is kryptonite for women. They go from one Chad to another. Even worse, then another Chad comes along. She has a child with each of them. Those are the men she had children with. Imagine the one she didn't. When you come to see, that body count is above 50. But then you hear them say, I deserve a good man. 2 things. A woman's past matters. Don't get involved with single mothers. Don't take on another man's sin. All those guys were classic Chad types. None of them were provider or hardworking. No, they don't like that. She only likes the seat of Chads. She's happy counting her misfortunes as if it were some kind of achievement. Kevin Samuel was right. You can't make up this shit.
Buy 2, get 2 free. Just £49 gets you 4 pairs of pants delivered to your door, guaranteed to last 20 years without needing replacement.
He then said that he wanted the DNA test. And it was, why do you want a DNA test? Oh, no, because she cheated on me. That's not my kid. You know that that's your kid. I will never give you a DNA test. That's not going to happen. Because I know of course not.
But if he's asking for it?
I will not go it. I did my research. I will never, ever give him a DNA test. You will need to take me to court. I will never. Because then that's me justifying your lie.
But also, like, giving so? But I don't think it's justifying the lie. I think if you don't trust me about that, here it is. It's like this.
But he knows that this is his. He knows so much that he had reached out to his brother, and his brother had contacted me. And his brother was like, hey, I've been talking to him. He wants to know if you'll do a DNA test. And I told him. And I even sent him the text messages. He knows that this is his kid. I have everything in text.
No, okay, I see what you mean.
I will not get a kid. For what? You look at my kid now. No, because you knew.
Yeah.
You know for a fact that this is your kid, even without seeing him.
Yeah.
You know that this is your kid, and then for you to go and say that now, okay, let me see how far I could go with this lie. Let me get her to do a DNA test so then I could tell all of my family I wasn't there and you guys weren't there because I didn't know it was my kid. That is BS. That's a lie.
Yeah, but I also feel like it's like, you think it's a lie? That's what I'm saying.
No.
Then let's, you don't think it's yours, let's just do it then.
Pedro, all I have to do is show you my kid. You see my kid, and my kid looks identical to you.
I know.
And then he wanted me to do a DNA test while I was pregnant. You can't do that. Only one with blood. And why would I go and put the effort into it when I know that he's lying and he knows that he's lying?
But then he could say, well,
I can't listen to Extraction complete. Pelican 1 beginning ascent. I don't even know what the fuck she was talking about. I did my research? What research?
Victory was never in doubt.
I did my research. He's lying. I could show you my kid. They look like his brother even. It was so much a bunch of word salad going on. I didn't even know. I was still waiting to hear the concrete proof that that's his kid. I got text messages of me and his brother talking and all this. Like, what? The fact that she said he got to take her to court for him to get a simple DNA test. No, you don't.